Hey guys, so here we are on our farm. Now this is our maize germinating, so it's looking good. And this week we'll be weeding because we have a lot of weeds in as well. This area we're standing on here, we have used artificial manure as a test, as an experiment. And the next area along, just after those thorn bushes, you can see, hold on, I'll take you along. The next area along, we used cow manure, so we can get a gauge between the difference. Now, I can already see, because the locals can't afford cow manure. This is the cow manure, and the growth is much better. So you've got to remember, I don't like using artificial stuff, so I didn't like using the artificial manure, but there's no chemical compounds in it or anything like that. It's just artificial feed for the plants, rather than being a natural feed. So the cow manure is a grand improvement on the artificial. So nature's won on that one. The natural manure has worked better than the man-made one. So it's looking good. We just need to weed it at the moment. The boundary heads up to, if we give the wind, the boundary heads up to where Ali's about to be, where that pile is. And it's all looking really strong. This area here, on the other side of Tia, has very small germination because I purposely kept a small amount of an acre to one side where we put no manure. We just let it come naturally to see how fertile the ground would be. Now there is germination, but it's only very, very small. So, but this is where it's at. This is our lifeline, right here, right where I'm standing. And I love it, because this is getting back to the original tribal ways of life. And it truly is. Now, of course, there are tribes who rely on animals, such as the Maasai here. But if you go to the ancient tribes of places like America, like the Hopi, for example, the Hopi creation story of Masao is that he offers them, I have only my planting stick and my corn. And if you are willing to live a simple life here with me, then you can take care of this planet. And this is their original story. So tribes have relied on maize and corn, as you would call it in the West, for millennia, for such a long time. It's unbelievable. The roots of population growth comes from this amazing plant. And here we are. And it's it's quite a powerful feeling. It's a very powerful feeling to be growing your own food to support so many. And I can only presume that all human beings would get just as much joy from it as what we are. If the land wasn't being commercialised and commodified, if people had access to the land to grow their own food, to support their own family, they would feel that bond and connection to the land that we are feeling, that I'm feeling, standing here now today. It's an amazing thing, it truly is. So I'm going to do a little video, I think. I've just felt like saying, after I started talking about the Hopi, I'm going to do a little video about my thoughts and beliefs on the reason why such tribes and their creation stories are so important to Western life, and why we need to start looking at that, especially on a planet where we are relying so heavily on calories from animals which are not sustainable, because they have to eat so much more farmed crops to create that usable calorie than a human being would, that the planet can't sustain it. It's not physically, scientifically possible. And I think if we go back to our original tribal ways of life, the true ones, not the ones that we think we found by digging up spears and weapons and tools, that the only things that are existing, but the ones we can identify by checking dental records, etc. And in doing so, we can see that the tribes, persons of ancient times, were relying predominantly on starch. You can see it in their dental records, as I say. then we can start moving the planet to a new place. A place where the traditional tribal ways, the traditional tribal hearts and mindset and relationship with the planet and with earth and with the soil can come back to us. And those things that we've benefited from greatly, like the modern medicines and solar power and things of this nature, they can remain, but integrated with a human consciousness that respects and cares for the planet and lives in line as part of the ecosystem, not something that beats the ecosystem into submission, or not something that destroys the ecosystem for the sake of commodifying natural resources. Because they are not a commodity. They are part of you, and you are part of they. And you know this, because when you burn them and eat them, they provide you with warmth, they provide you with food and energy. So we've got to stop commodifying it. We've got to start just living in line with it. We've got to pull back to the tribal ways. So, but as I say, for now, I've gone off on a tangent. Our maize is looking good. The floods haven't damaged us too badly at all here. It's probably benefited us because the ground will be retaining so much moisture beneath here. And this week we shall weed the ground, and after we finish weeding the ground and the next rainfall comes, we are planting the beans and planting the squash as well. So, and then the squash will grow, act as a natural mulch to keep moisture in the ground. The maize will grow tall, and the bean plants, we'll plant 3 bean plants around each maize. They will grow up the maize because that's as much weight as a maize plant can support. And then we have the traditional native method of planting done by most native tribes who relied on maize from Africa to the Americas, which is called in permaculture the 3 sisters. So, right, I'm going to get off, but I'm a very happy man here today.
Me